Today I'd like to introduce you to a painting that I have painted quite some while ago, quite a few months ago now. And it is usual with me, it's like the upward pointing triangle or the pyramid and the downward pointing triangle. The symbolic meaning for the masculine and the feminine. And I never really knew what I was painting there till in the end it came clearer and clearer. And now also this kind of zip kind of style became very clear of what it means. So far in my mystical journey, I have learned that the feminine is life. The feminine is the experience, right? And you are alive if you have experiences, and there can be good and there can be bad. There's not of any point of judgment. There just are, and there is a vibrant, buzzing life out there that is incredible of what for experiences are there waiting for us to take part in it and to experience and explore them and embody those. And that's what you see in the picture is the base of it, where it's just like within our blood, within our system, there are 1,000 millions of little cells and they're all buzzing and they're all doing their stuff. And then there's our reality that we experience as reality. And that's then the kind of the washed, the gray, the muddled, the kind of obstrued surface, facade of life. And as you see, there is the triangle that points down, and then we have the masculine triangle, the pyramidic kind of triangle in the bottom. And if you imagine, the higher your zip is, the higher is the masculine in control. The masculine being the mind, being the control, being the safety aspect, being the present, but present in a way of I control the situation. I get sure that I earn enough money, that I have anything that's rational, analytic, and it's there to assure our survival. That's what the mind is. But the higher we put this up, the less and less of that vibrancy of life, of the experience of life, can come through, is being visible. So therefore, what this symbolic painting shows is the more we surrender the mind, the bigger this triangle gets. The bigger we open our zip, the more becomes visible. Of our heart area, for example, of here where the heart is, and more of that comes out. But if we zip it up all the way in the top, then we maybe have maximum control and we can get sure that everything in our life will be the way how it is. I don't want to say perfect, but with much uncertainty. But it is the uncertainty of life. It's the feminine, it's the unknown that creates the magic. Because the mind can only bring something into our life that has been a projected way of what we have experienced in the past. So it only knows. So why would you only experience life from a point what you have already experienced? But life is a process of constantly being fluid with whatever comes. That's why I don't like the story as a sexologist about this monogamy. I have lived 100% monogamy, but always have felt also I wanted to explore something else. I wanted to explore with the alchemy that happens in between people. But when you said yes to something, you had to say no to something else. And this is the mess that happens in here. When you really live from your heart, i.e. when you open up and let the feminine have the power, the space. And you're only choosing to put your presence, but you put your presence below your vision, not squashing the vision to keep the control, to stay safe, to do what the other ones want, what is expected of you, or what you feel is expected of you, which is worse. Let go of that and says, what's happening right now? And that's why we need to be equal. Equal in the way of how I deal with my masculine and how I deal with my feminine. They have equal power. And there is no question of who's first, the chicken or the egg. But the experience of life is the feminine. This is everything there is. But how we can truly observe that, how we can truly embody that, to bring the masculine to it, to stay present about that experience and control it when it gets out of control and let go. But you see, the ratio that it should be is always that there is more life in you than there is control. And the presence is something that grows, and the presence is something that we always have to focus on in a certain way, or it's overwhelming. We just can't deal with all of that. I realize that on a daily basis now, finding out about my feminine, about Venus in my astrological chart that is in Capricorn. So she actually needs quite a lot of, she's cool. She needs a lot of space. She always has to go back out to reflect back on. She needs to have her own space to find myself. So that therefore, within the space where I'm embodying myself, intuition can come through. For me, not what I pick up on, what the other ones want, or what's the collective story as a reflector, as a mirror to the world. So this is really most important for me. In human design, it's a reflector, and it's basically a mirror. And when you have too many people in front of you that you mirror, or even the collective, then you go nuts. But it's not you. That's the main thing. So it's really important that the masculine is there too, and it controls that thing where it's right and where it's not right. But today in our society, this is the other way around. And the feminine is really squashed out to a certain extent, because we only shall have experiences the way how the collective wants it. But we're 8 billion people, and we're all individuals, and we all have a different, or we shall have a different experience of life and of different things. So therefore, this is actually the true symbolic meaning of that would is to be received. Life, the experience of being alive, is always in a way first. It always has been there before. This is what it says in the Bible. And then it's up to us what we want out of it, how much we can take of it. Yeah. And as we can take it, we can unzip it a little bit more and unzip it a little bit more. And you see, the true wisdom in living a human life is not gaining, but is unzipping. Is unlearning, letting go. Yes, I can cope with a little bit more love, with a little bit more vibrancy and aliveness and wellness and perfection. We're made in the perfect picture of God. So we're unzipping, we're letting go, we're surrendering more and more to this process. It's not taking control, it's not domineering, it's not dictating. It's, okay, this is what it says. When you get hit on the right chin, then turn your left one. So it's a process of unzipping. Okay, I can take more. I can take more, I can take more, till you get to the grounds of where you really are. This is pure alignment. And when you have reached that, or the bottom of the pit, the bottom of the illusion, The bottom of the pit of the illusion is when you compare the two words of there's heaven and there's hell. Hell means to stand beside yourself. And heaven is to be aligned with yourself. So the bottom of the pit is the place where you're back in alignment with yourself again. You're diving, you have drowned in the water and you're diving deeper and deeper. And that deeper and deeper means actually you're going back to your alignment, to the light that you are, to the love, to the truth, to the light that you are. And in that moment, you receive again vertical impulses. Your intuition comes back. You're aligned again. That's the feminine. You receive again. It's what it's called. Like, your will shall be done. Your kingdom shall come, not mine. That would be the same as the masculine is above the feminine. But when I stand in this thing, and yeah, the masculine is up there because it's something new and I have to slowly allow myself to get into it, that I'm not getting overwhelmed, that I not get stuck by fear of the new thing. So this will be quite up, but we always have to remember that the key principle of really aliveness is surrendering. Saying, yes, I can take a little bit more. Right? When you sleep with your partner as a man and you have to hold the sexual energy so that you don't ejaculate and it's over, that you keep that aliveness and that red-hottedness, that fire in you burning, it's like, okay, instead of like, it's too much, it's like, no, okay, I get used to that. I'll find ways, right, to serve the masculine. The masculine is the way, okay, you have the vision. I want to make longer love with you. I want to explore even hotter, even more amazing things. And I want to do this for even longer periods of times or more intensive periods of times, which is the quality instead of the quantity. So I'll find ways. I'll find ways through sound, breath, and movement. And that's what the masculine does. But the masculine also knows, okay, I need to relax. I need to express. I need to let go of the energy that is there, that more energy flows back into. And as he unzips, as he goes further and further down, it opens that area more and more. And you know what happens in life when you come under pressure. If a container is too small for the energy that's flowing in, and God or the universe or your life experience is there for you to give, it's there for you to serve. Even though it slaps you in the face, it's only a sign that you stand beside yourself and the universe slaps you as an act of service to get back into alignment. That's how it serves you. And if you're in alignment, it serves you too, by giving you everything that you need for being in your alignment. That's how it is said, that the Father in you is one and the Father will provide for you. If you're in alignment, then that's paradise. And everything will happen and it will seek you what you're seeking. It comes to you. It's been attracted by the frequency of your heart, by your feminine part is open, by the receptive part. If you can't receive, then there's no point. Try to squeeze water out of a stone. But manifest something where there is moisture and water in it, a coconut, right? It's hard as a stone at times. If you hit it on your head, you'll feel it. But at least when you say, like, try to squeeze water out of a coconut, yeah, it's possible. So manifest a coconut in the first instance. Something that is alive, that has life in it. And the same is with us. So assure that the aliveness that you trying to manifest is your capacity to think, to go nuts, to go into theories that are beyond your wildest dreams. Be careful what you wish for, because it's maybe coming alive. If it's aligned with your being and it brings you the lessons that you need to learn, then yeah, and it's all in there. Everything is in there. Infinity is in there. Every single position that you can imagine would be in there. It's only of how you're unzipping and how you create your focus and your attention on that to manifest it, to bring it down. But it's there. But you can zip it up, and you're in this facade, in this... you can't take really part of it. You'll see it like coming through, but you can't really touch it. The godly power that is there. But it's in the feminine. And feminine has nothing to do with women. Yeah, they have an easier access to it. And they're now so powerfully embodying the masculine. But also what they have learned is they have to gain control, gain focus. And then they stay in focus because it's the survival instinct of the masculine. And this is why it's so difficult. And this is why we have to be so damn present at times, at all the times, to realize, oh, I'm now in charge. And I've surrendered the power, the might of the illusion that this is what life is all about. Life is a flowing process within the greater consciousness. And not being and trying hard to protect and keep up my position within the greater context. This is hard work. This is doing. But to be with the flow, this is why it says that has become my most favorite saying in the Bible is like that the foxes have their cave in the ground and the birds have their nest, but someone who travels truly in my name has no cushion to rest on. And it is true, because it's a moving thing, but our society has been built around capitalistic structures of like, hey, get your land, build your house on it, get your 2 cars, and so on and so forth. And it's all based on longevity, on that this is certain for all the time, for all the generations. But what happens with that, we keep out the natural flow of the feminine possibilities that are there. I've decided yesterday to chalk it and let go of where I'm living. Let go of the job I'm having and go and do what my intuition tells me. Go into the sun. Go to the south. Go to Portugal or Spain, down that direction. And from the astrological part, it looks perfect because the alignment is directly like that. Ireland has been my home because what happened in Ireland, my astrological part in the relocation thing showed me clearly if I'm in that line of the world, then certain aspects are in my chart in the 4th house. So that's home. That's where you feel at home. And truly, Ireland was for 15 years my home, and I want that back again. Because if the 4th house is strong, then it gives you the roots for your 10th house, and your 10th house is your purpose. You can't do your purpose if you're not at home. It's always like you're sitting on packed bags and knowing, oh, comes a time you have to move on. So why building something properly? That's at least for me, which is a very difficult thing. So I really want to find home, and I think it's time to move. I got this very clearly in April, but till then I didn't have the balls to do it, to surrender the power that I had, the safety that I had, the security that I had. But now it's just become so clear. Just do. I have no idea what to do. And just now, when I have the first time really in my life assembled myself a nice little cozy place, now I have to let it go again. So I see, okay, how do I get a little van or so that I can drive down there and take all the stuff with me? Because it all has to be done on a shoestring. But this is also the kind of riddles that life gives you. It's like, do you really believe Do you really walk the talk? Do you really surrender your might, your masculine, your control, your mind? Or is it just a convenient truth that if it's convenient, then the feminine is great, yeah. But what is if it's not convenient? If it scares the living daylights out of you? Then, do you still believe that when suffering happens, do you still believe that this is part of it? To return back to the vibrancy of life. It's returning back to having a massive experience of the abundance of life by surrendering the control, to allowing yourself to align yourself with the environment. And that means at times you need to go somewhere else. You need to split up with your partner. You need to detach from your parents or from your job environment or friends or nation and says, I'm not doing this anymore. Stop. This is the control. I need to be up there. I need to be in life, not in control. So see what that means for you. See how high up your zip is, and if you couldn't maybe surrender it a little bit, unzip it a little bit more to see if you can cope with it. And if you start shaking, if you get anxious, if you start taking any drugs with it, yeah, good. Because then you know more energy is flowing in as soon as you unzip, and you're trying to cope with it through sugar, through alcohol, through food, through sex, through whatever there is. Good, it's a good sign. It means more energy is flowing in and you're trying to cope with it. And I have the typical way of how I cope with this. I eat sugar. And always I know when it gets too much and I'm aware of it, then I know it's like, okay, you're on the right track. Just be aware of it. Rain it down. What you need to do, let go, unzip, breathe, relax, be. Stop the doing.